In America, the two best-selling cars are the Ford Taurus and the Honda Accord, but neither is the best-selling vehicle. Not by a long way. This is the Ford F-Series pickup truck, the Texas Cadillac. The pickup truck started out in life as a sort of covered wagon, a workhorse, but today it's actually a style statement. If I drive round and these cylindrical receptacles here are just the right size for a can of Budweiser. As P.J. O'Rourke said, the pickup truck is the world's first beer-guided vehicle.
Probably Austin, Texas probably got more pickups per capita per person than probably any other place in the whole world as far as I know. And I think it's mainly because they're outdoorsmen here in Austin, Texas, and we got the hill country, and we got ranchers, we got farmers, we got people that like to go out and fish. And you catch such big fish in Texas, you got to have a big pickup so you can just kind of throw them in the back of the truck bed, you know.
Right, Sammy, despite that shirt, I'd like to bet you've got a pickup truck parked out there as well.
Yeah, we got for my band, the Giesen Slaws, we have, well, we did have haul our equipment in a van, a 79 Chevy van, but we wanted to upgrade and look better. So we got a trailer, a red trailer, and this red pickup out here with the pipes coming up the side is our pickup, yeah. It's not a real fancy one, of course. The real status symbol is like, you know, all air conditioned, your bucket seats, chrome-plated rifle rack, maybe.
So how come you haven't got a car?
My dad wouldn't let me get one.
But he lets you have a pickup truck?
Right.
Well, how come?
Because they're not as dangerous as cars.
What? Pickup trucks turn over really easily.
It just depends on how you drive them, though.
Well, they're easy to handle. They have a good ride nowadays, even though mine's an 86 and it's a little bumpy, but it's still a lot of fun. You can throw anything in the back.
So it is just the big mother?
It is. It is my big mother. It's a big beast.
Pickup trucks are now so ingrained in the Texas psyche, they even race them. It's called mud dragging.
If it rolls, floats, flies, or crashes, runs on gasoline or high explosives, shoots a big bullet, makes lots of noise, producing torque and recoil, and it's cool. But if it's a ball made out of leather or inflated with air, hit with a bat, racket, or club, played on a course, green, or court by yuppies or liberals, it sucks.
Yep, I'll go with all of that. And so too do these guys who race their pickup trucks for thousands and thousands of miles across the desert. California is its face, New York is its brain, but Texas is its heart. Yep, if you want to know what makes America tick, get your 10-gallon hat on and get yourself to Texas.
I think Texans consider Texas sacred soil. And when I was born, my father was working about 30 miles outside the state line in Louisiana. He made it a point that my feet would not touch the ground until he had taken me back across the state line, taken my shoes off, and set me on Texas soil.
I guess anyone who is proud of his place of birth would understand, how Texans feel about theirs. Probably maybe go overboard in some areas, but it's because we really do like Texas. We're not just here because it's where we were born. We're here because we like it.
I don't see why you don't stay a little longer.
Texas is the only state in the Union with a get-out clause in the Constitution. Anytime these people want to leave the United States, they can just walk away. And then there's building regulations. Elsewhere in the civilized world, there's the trivial and bothersome business of planning consent. But not here. If you want to build your house out of beer cans, go right ahead. Beats the hell out of stone cladding. Texas embodies the old-fashioned, pre-political correctness American dream. The people here are freer, friendlier, fatter, and simpler. And if you want to know what I mean by simpler, remember, one of them married Mark Thatcher. Another one has gone even further. Welcome to Toad Hall, Texas style.
We're better. We're more blessed by God. We're smarter, and we deserve more, and we get more.
Would you say that there's a higher percentage of eccentrics living in Texas than anywhere else you've ever been?
No, I would say that there's a higher percentage of really dull people living around fish, living on islands and living on the East Coast and the West Coast. I would say there's a normal percentage of people living in the flatlands where you can see in four directions and not see mountains and not see surf, but just see any way that you want to.
Normal, hey? Oh yeah, very normal.
We grow up in a place that offers such wide open spaces, it's just natural. Get behind the wheel and put your foot in it.
Well, Texas is like a woman. I mean, some are flat and some are not. I mean, it depends on what part of Texas you're in. So the cars are that way.
See, the thing about Texas is we can go in any direction from this place right here, which is right in the middle of Houston, and in 20 minutes, I can be doing 200 miles an hour.
Frank, of course, finds it very easy to do 200 miles an hour because he has a fistful of Ferraris. But what about the other two, the weird beards? What sort of cars do they drive?
Texas is really a strange place. There is so much a cultural mix of influences. You find low riders, high riders, and all points in between.
The 49 Mercury I have out there right now is a big lead sled, large car, but that probably became popular because it was easier to make out at the drive-in rather than going fast. You go fast inside the car sitting still.
What about this, though, the Eliminator? I mean, I bet that doesn't hang around.
I've yet to put it nose to nose with Frank, but all in good fun. You know, when we're doing music, the game is really to stay in the groove, not to speed up or drag behind. So we're pretty much neck and neck so far. I prefer a lightweight car, high revving, a car that you can use more of your driving skills, as opposed to an American car, which is generally heavier, big engine, and is mostly just has to do with your right foot. So I like the nimbleness of the Italian cars. He is the propellant, if you will. I think anything slower than a Ferrari would be detrimental to the musical stylings that we pursue. The idea of the car is to get to the next party. You know, my preference is to get there in a Ferrari. You know, I'll get there quicker and stay longer and get home before you do.
Well, this car is left to the world, museums, in memory of my dear departed wife, Jean K. Kendall Battenfield. Her life was snuffed out between a car and a truck on I-40 in Washington here in Amarillo, Texas. And it was a great loss to me. The car has been therapy for me. It is done to be different. There's nothing in the world like it. It's classified as artwork. There'll never be another one. The jewelry is all nieces, nephews, grandma, grandpa, mother's jewelry, sister's jewelry, brother's jewelry. This little Sato watch here was given to me by a little girl out here at the park one day. She took it off her wrist. I'm sure the little watch meant a lot to her. Probably cost $4 or $5. That means a lot to me that little girl would give up her worldly good, her possession, the little watch, take it off her arm and ask me to put it on the car.
He's even put his purple heart on it. But if it's purple prose you're after, get me out of here and into the seminal Texas car, the Chevy El Camino SS. Many things make it appropriate. First, it's a pickup truck. Second, it has an enormous 7.4-litre, 430 horsepower V8. And third, back in the 70s, it was built here.
Got a competition clutch, 4 on the floor. She purrs like a kitten till the lake might roar.
If you think ZZ Top are loud, just check this out. Those exhausts, they're not just pipes, they're musical instruments. 6-foot Fender Strats.
You could get very, very fond of this car.
It's owned by a Lazarus-type chap who turns old Chevys like this into museum pieces like this. He'll sell you any old part, or if you want, a whole car. The only trouble is, he's a hard man to do business with.
I don't like computers. Computers did not design a 55 Chevrolet, or the geeks that operated them either.
Woo, strident stuff. But Bill saves his real venom for politicians and their silly, silly laws that say he can't drive fast.
Washington lives up there in Yankee land. They don't live down here with us poor, hot, sweaty Southerners that have to drive across this big SOB at 55 miles an hour. Hell, you die from old age getting across it.
But you have got some different rules in Texas. You can shoot people here, can't you?
Yeah, if they're stealing what you've worked to earn at night, and when the sun goes down, you have the right to vigorously defend your property.
Texas has moved on a bit since the days when a bunch of guys ran around at the Alamo shooting Mexicans. You've still got cowboys, of course, but you've also got J.R. Ewing sitting at the top of a skyscraper being an oil billionaire. You've got a massive computer industry. And, of course, you've got NASA. Woo! All right! You know, the astronauts are probably up there right now with their 37 million horsepower space shuttle, playing with some of the most sophisticated electronics known to man. But if they're good Texans, I just know what's coming through on the radio.
Houston, we have a problem. I think I left the lights on in my pickup truck.
Talking here about the Range Rover syndrome. By riding around town in their flash pickup trucks, these urban cowboys really do believe they got a ranch somewhere. They sit out at night round a campfire with a cold beer and a couple of wild, wild women. The trouble is, their dreams were manufactured by Hollywood. The Texas reality is rather different.
I've had it for probably 14 years, and I hadn't got over how ugly it is yet. I used to come out in the evening sometime when I'd come out with a cup of coffee and spend a few minutes, and I'd back out on the road and look at it. Ugly can become so ugly it's pretty, and it can fool you. It can be very deceptive, but you get to looking at it, and all of a sudden the ugliness just moons you. You know, you're mooned then. You're hooked on it. And you think, good gosh, I've never seen nothing that ugly. And you can't walk away without turning around at least 3 times and looking back at it and shaking your head. I've actually had people to throw their stuff down and run in the house when they see me coming down the road. I'm serious. This one guy, I could see him about 3 blocks away. And I was watching him, and he walked out a little further, and his neck was actually stretching. He was looking at me coming down that road. And as I got closer, he started stepping back, and within about 3/4 of a block, he actually throwed his water hose down and ran into the house. And I slowed down. I thought, God, I wonder what's the matter, you know. And it began to dawn on me, he was afraid of my truck. He was literally afraid of it.
What kind of an engine's it got in it?
Right now, it's just got a little small block Chevrolet engine. Probably, I think it's a 400 small block. They're real torquey motors. I took a big 396 high performance out of it, which was wore down. It was a beastly engine.
Can I see traces of shopping lists and things on it?
Yeah, and dates and figures, and most of it's faded off now. The whole side, both sides, if I got out this door or if I was doing something there and I was figured, I'd ride it on the side of my truck. 7 o'clock, coffee in the morning, $2.90, you know, and Joe or whatever the occasion was. I'd put it on the truck because when I'd walk out in the morning about half awake, I'd open the door, and there it was. I couldn't forget, you know, so I had no excuse for forgetting it was right before me. So, and through the day, I'd write an address on there so that I wouldn't forget.
If you won the state lottery, which is what, $45 million, I think, right now, would you keep that?
Oh yeah, I'd keep it. I'd put some new tires on it, brake shoes, and power steering. I'd love to have some power steering and shocks.
Air conditioning?
No.
No?
Oh, no. Good old Texas heat, it's good for you.
Is it?
Yeah, it makes you sweat, cleans your pores out so you can get dirty again, you know. It's a process, reciprocating process, I guess you'd call it.
I know a good way of getting up a sweat and going broke. Trucks like these use 1 gallon of fuel to cover 300 yards. Well, so tell me about the engine on this truck then.
This is a 572 blown and alcohol injected big block Ford motor. Puts out about 1,300 horsepower.
1,300?
1,300.
That must make it one of the most powerful vehicles in the known universe.
Fairly close. There are some drag race cars that are more powerful, but basically this is a top alcohol motor in a funny car or a drag car.
Well, I've driven some fast cars in my time and some powerful stuff, but not ever have I been this nervous. That's the sound of a 9.7 litre engine. There is a substitute for cubic inches. Cubic feet. This is really scary. Oh. The acceleration is unbelievable. 5 tons, and it goes that fast. They've got to be joking. No. This is it. This is the all-time Clarkson favourite.